Good evening. Hello, good evening. Dorcas, good evening. So we're going to start. Good evening and welcome to our live class for today. So while I wait for people to join the stream, I'm just going to rule my lines on my pattern paper. Okay, let's see. Dorcas, good evening. Thank you so much. So I'm just trying to set my camera up properly, okay? Victoria, good evening. Good evening. Okay, so you guys already know what we are doing today. It's a simple Victoria corset. Victorian corset. Yeah. So that's what we're learning how to cut today, to draft and cut. So the first thing I'm just going to go with the tutorial straight. So let's do the back piece first, and then we'll do the front. So first, the first thing you will do when drafting this as a beginner, this is a very simple pattern to draft. It is simple. It's not technical. Okay, good evening. Ah, Ujunwa, good evening. Okay, sorry, I've not raised up my head. Emmanuel Lovett, good evening. Good evening. Ah, Ujunwa. Thank you so much. Good evening. Of course, I'll answer your greeting now. Why will I not answer your greeting? Ayon Dorcas. Okay, Dorcas was the first. Thank you so much. Okay. Hmm. Okay, thank you so much. God bless you. So now let's start. So the first thing we're going to do, can you see my pattern paper? The first thing we're going to do, mark a straight line. So this straight line is going to be your shoulder line. Even though it is a tube, but you just mark it that way. Stephanie, I could see your dancing emojis. So the next thing we're going to do, okay, yes, let every part be captured. So the next thing you are going to do, you are going to mark your bust point, which is your nipple point. So for today's lesson, we are going to use 10 inches for that line. So that's 10 inches. And then the next line you are going to use is the under bust line. So we're using 13. And then the full length of our blouse. If you notice, the back is not going, if in case we want to do the back as a basque. So I think I used to do just a single basque front. I think let me do the front and back today. Let's do that as basque. So our waist is going to be 17, and then I'll use 24 as my full length because I want to do the front and the back to have that basque effect. Okay, so now connect all of these lines. So that's my bust point line, my bust line, my under bust, and then this is the waist, which is 17. That's around your tummy area where your belly button is. And then we have our full length. So we're using, making front and back the same, 24 inches. Okay, so the next thing we're going to do after this, we are going to come to your shoulder line. So I think so I'm just going to be adjusting it this way. So we're going to mark our shoulder. So the shoulder measurement we're using is 15. So you divide 15 into 2, you have 7.5. So I'll add just half inch for my allowance. So from that half inch line, you are going to come down by 1 inch. Okay, for those of you that are not beginners, you already know why we do this. And for those of you that are beginners, we do this because our shoulder is not straight. Okay, so it is usually slanted. So from that 1 inch point, you're going to take half of your armhole measurement. So for this, for mine, half of my armhole is 15, is sorry, 7.5. Okay, so I'll mark it here. So this is 7.5. You can use 8. So how do you get your armhole, half of your armhole? You can just take your tape and then measure around your armhole, divide that into 2. or you divide your bust measurement by 4, by 6, sorry, and then add 1.5. Can you see how I'm placing? Zubi Bright, good evening. Thank you so much for joining. So I'm going to take my pattern curve like this, and then I'm just going to do this. So that is for my armhole. So like I said, this is our back piece. So let's draft our back piece first. The next thing, we want to take out our full body measurement before we divide the darts, because for a Victorian corset it matters a lot. So before we take the darts, okay. So the first thing we're going to do now, we'll come to this point, we're going to take our full body measurement first. So the full body measurement I'm using, and for the bust, I'm making use of a bust of 40 inches. So divide 40 into 4, I have 10. I'll mark the 10 inches here. And then I'll come to my under bust line. So for the under bust line, my under bust measurement is 32. So I'll mark my 32 here. If you notice, I've not added allowance. So, and then my waist is 36. So 36 divided by 4, I have 9 inches. And then my hip, that's the hip line, that's for the hem, I use 40 inches. So that's 10 inches. Okay. So for this, I am going to add a series of what do you call it? Series of allowances. First, for the back piece, I'm going to add 1 inch. So this is like the standard measurement. I'm still going to reduce it because I'm going to still take out even more than that. Okay. So I'm going to add 1 inch for my normal allowance, and then I'll add 2 inches for my stitching allowance. So on this part also, the same thing that I did, I am going to do it. So if you have questions, you can please drop your questions on the comment section, and then I will answer you. So when I'm done, all of my lines, I am going to mark them together like this. Okay. So can you see? So I'm just trying to connect all of my lines together. So after connecting them, I'm just going to take this and then blend this part together that way. Okay. So if you have questions, like I said, you can leave your questions on the comment section. So now we're coming to this part. We want to work on the waist snatching. If you notice, it is a Victorian corset, so it has a lot of slices and dices. So the first thing we're going to do, we're going to use our bust pan. We're going to take the first dart, which we are using our bust pan of 9 inches. That's nipple to nipple is 9. So you divide that into 2, you are going to have 4.5. So that 4.5, I'm just going to mark that 4.5. I'll mark it across my lines, and then I'll connect that line. I'll just connect it with a straight ruler like this. Okay. So when I connect this with a straight ruler, because this is a Victorian corset, I'm going to use this part. I'm just going to maintain that line to cut out my yoke. That's to cut out for the back. Okay. So that's my armhole line. So it's going to be straight that way. So the next thing we want to take out, I want to take out our original dart, which is 1 inch. So that 1 inch, I'll divide that 1 inch into 2 parts. Can you see what I did? And then from that part, I am going to slope this in this way. So this is for my original dart. I have not done any other dart intake. So after doing this, I'm going to now I want to do my tightening. That's, I want to snatch my waistline. So if I want to snatch my waistline, if I want to take out 3 inches, for instance, if my waist is 33 and I want my waist to become 30, I'm going to take out 3 inches. So when I want to take out that 3 inches, what I will do, you guys should please give this video a thumbs up. I would appreciate it. Okay. So what you would do, that 3 inches, you're going to divide it into 2. You take 1.5 here, and then take 1.5 for the front. For instance, if I want to take out 4 inches from this waist, that's from my waistline, I'll take out 2 for the front and 2 for the back. So for this, I want to take out 4 inches from my original measurement. So I'm taking out 2 inches for this front, for this back. So remember, this is our normal original dart. so you are not counting that one. So since I want to take out 2 inches, the next thing I'm going to take out, I'm going to take out an extra of 1 inch from this side. So that extra 1 inch that I want to take out, I'm going to mark it this way. So this will help me to like snatch my waistline very well. And then after taking this, here's what I'm going to have. I'm going to divide what I have here from my original, from the dart line of the original, and then I'm going to mark it. I'll mark the center. So when I mark the center, that center, I'm going to connect it. So for this, your dart leg, you can actually draw it the way, but for most times for my back, I like making them just straight also. It's for the front, okay? So when I mark this like this, for this, I'm going to take out half of an inch from the right and then half of an inch from my left, okay? And then when I am done, I am going to mark and connect this like this, okay? And then I'll mark it this way. Okay, so the next thing, I'm going to come to my back piece here. I want to, because it is a corset, so we are going to reduce the back measurement. So I'm going to use 2 inches to reduce the back measurement, so you can see what I am taking out. I'm taking out another 2 inches for my back piece. And then when I take out that 2 inches, so if in case there's another way I could do this, I could take out 1 inch from the top and then 2 inches from the center. But since I am teaching people that are not entirely professionals, so let's do this. This one is quite easier. So all of these points are where my eyelets are going to be. Can you see? You see how simple, beautiful, easy this looks? So this is for my back piece, okay? So for this back piece, again, for this part that I am placing my, okay, no, let me just leave that. Let me leave that. So this is what we have for our back piece. So in case you want to add an extra layer, you could add on this side. But for back, most times for the back, I really don't like disturbing myself so much. I'm just going to go with what I have here. So I'll cut this out because we're not adding a yoke. So I'll just take that out. And then I would cut this and then show you guys how to create our basque, okay? So in order for us to create the basque for the back, so this is our waist, 17. So the next thing I'm going to do from this 17 inches, I could do this. Is a simple process, you understand? It's a very simple process. I could just take my tape like this and then I could create my basque waistline. In case I want to come down a little bit by 1 inch, fine, I could also do that. So the more you go up, the more the basque will be formed, you understand? So for instance, if I'm using that 17, so this is what I am just going to do. I'm going to take my, can you see the way I place my pattern curve? And then I'm going to create this effect like this. Can you see? So with this, you could see that I have a beautiful basque for my back piece. So it's a simple process. So you really don't need to disturb yourself. Can you see? You see how beautiful our back piece is? Simple, easy, and we are done with our back piece, okay? So at this point, you want to label your piece. You just name 1, 2, 3. You can name them so that you know it is the back piece, okay? Because sometimes after cutting, they could all be confusing. So this is our back piece. You see how simple this is. So like I said, if you want to, you want to improve your pattern drafting skills, please don't forget to subscribe to Stylish Naija YouTube channel and then tune in for our live classes, okay? So guys, you guys should please like this video. Check on this side, you see 3 dots. So, and just 3 dots by the side. So just click on it and then you see the like button will pop out. Like the video, give me thumbs up, Okay, so now we're drafting our front piece. Okay, so we're starting afresh again. So I'm placing, because this is a live class, so I have to place everything for you guys to see from the beginning. So our bust point is 10, our under bust is 13, our waist. So I'm not adding a bust dart to this. All right, I'm thinking, okay, so we could add a bust dart. So I'm using 18 for my waist, and then my full length is 24. Okay, so the next thing we are going to do from this part, we're just going to connect all of these lines. So let's mark them out, and then I'll label them for you guys to see. If you have questions, please drop your questions on the comment section. This is a live class. I'm going to do well to answer you guys. Okay, for those of you that have not subscribed to my channel, please subscribe. And if you want to join to be a member of Stylish Naija on here on YouTube, you can just use the join button. You guys should please like this video now. Why am I talking too much? Okay, so the next thing we are going to do now. Okay, let's see. Is it that my camera is too high? Okay, so I think it is okay. That's it. Let everything enter. Okay. So now the next thing we are going to do now, so we're drafting the front part. We're going to start again with our shoulder of 15 divided by 2, 7.5 plus half inch allowance 8. And then from that point, I'm going to mark 1 inch. So I'm not going to assume that everybody here already knows. So because it is a teaching, so I am going to do everything again from scratch. Okay. So from that point, you come down and then you float that into the neckline. So that is for your shoulder slope, because our shoulder is not straight. Okay. So from this point, I want to mark half of my armhole measurement. So the half of the armhole is 7.5. The full armhole is 15. Okay, so I'll mark it like this and then just draw it with a straight ruler. So this line now, I am going to mark this line straight. So now this will be my shoulder line. So this line that I marked straight will be my chest line. This is my bust point. Okay, this is under bust. Remember? And then this is our waist, and then this is our full length. Okay. All right. So the next thing we are going to do at this point now, we want to add our measurements. So for this, we're going to be taking our bust span first. So the bust span that I'm using 4.5 inches. So that 4.5 inches, I'm just going to mark it across my lines. Okay, can you see? I'll mark it. So I'm just using dotted lines to connect it. Okay, I'll mark it straight like that, and then I am going to connect this straight like this. Okay, so when I connect this straight like this, the next thing I am going to do, I want to form my bust here. So I'll come to my under bust. So now I want to take a dart. Okay, so for the dart that I want to take out, now I want to take out a dart of 3 inches, not like a dart of 3 inches, because the bust is 40. Okay. Okay, so let's see. Emmanuel, say please, what measurement did you use for your dart lines at the back? I use 1 inch. The first dart, the original dart, I use 1 inch, and then the other one of the snatching, you place your tape in between, and then you measure, and then okay, the pattern is even here. No need for plenty talk. I've not cut it out. So this was the original dart, which is 1 inch. So after that 1 inch, I took out another extra 1 inch again, because I wanted to snatch the waistline. So this is the second dart. And then from here, you place your tape here, you get the center, and then take out another 1 inch for your dart. So I hope you understand, Emmanuel. If you don't understand, love it, please let me know. I'll explain that again. Okay. So yes, so let's go back. So like I said, I want to take out a dart of 3 inches. Okay. So that dart of 3 inches that I want to take out, I want to divide that. I'll take 2 inches to my right, and then I'll take 1 inch to my left. Okay. So when I mark it this way, the next thing I am going to do, I'm going to connect this line like this, I'm going to connect it straight down. So there are, I should have used the other pattern, but it's okay. I'll mark this way, and then the next thing I am going to do from this point, I want to create a curve like this, and then I'll create a curve. Okay, I'll create a curve. No, 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 no. I don't like that curve. I don't like it. So, okay. Yes, I think it's better. Okay. So that's the beauty of pattern drafting. You can check all of your things and then you make sure that they're okay. So the next thing I want to do from this point, I want to go up because it is an over bust corset. So from my chest line, so it depends on how high you want your neckline to be, okay? So it depends on how high you want your neckline to be. That is what you are going to use. So from this point, the easy way for me to do this, I am just going to mark from, so I just want to check first. Let me use my pencil. I just want to check, like seriously. See where the thing fly to. And if I do not carry it now, my marker is going to just dry up before I even say jack. It will dry up. Come here. Ugh. Okay. Okay. I hope my this thing is not bent. Okay. So I want to check it. So it depends on how I want my over bust, the top part, how I want it to be. So from this armhole, so this is my armhole line. Okay, I did not even mark my armhole line initially. So from this point, I'm going to come in. It's not even necessary. I'm still going to cut it off. So I just want to take the center part of this and then create my curve for my armhole. Okay, so I've created my curve for my armhole. So the next thing I want to do now, from this point, from this armhole side, I want to come down. So I want to check two things. So I want to come down maybe by 3.5 inches. So this 3.5 inches, I'll check it there. So it depends on how high I want. That's that part that I want the edge to tilt to. And then where do I want my neckline to be? So for where I want my neckline to be, so from this point I could just measure and then say 5 inches. Okay, say 5 inches. That's from the top of my chest, or let me say 6 inches. If I mark 6 inches, the next thing I'm going to check from here, can you see? So I just wanted to do this two ways. Another simple way is from this your chest line, you could go up just by 2 inches. Can you see? You could go up by 2 inches or 2.5 inches. So it depends on what you want. I was just trying to double check all of them to see, and you saw that it fits in. So 2 inches. So this is 2 inches, okay? So that's 2 inches. So that's I want to use my pencil first before I finally use my marker. So I'm going to mark it. So I'll mark that 2 inches this way. Then I'll extend this line up. Okay, so when I extend this line up, the next thing, so this measurement, definitely I'm not going to be using it again because it's too close to the neckline. So from this part, my armhole part, I'm just going to come down with like 2 inches or 2.5 inches. Can you see? So it depends on how you want that tilt. I don't know this edge. Can you see? Depends on how you want this edge. So you can come down. So you can do. I'm just trying to check. You could do from that point. You could do 2.5 inches or 3 inches. Okay. So I'm doing 2.5 inches. So that's my 2.5 inches. So the next thing I want to do on this part now. So let me. So since I've concluded this part, I can use my marker. Hope you guys are seeing everything I'm doing, because it's like the main Which measurement are you talking about? Love it. You say not the that measurement. So which of the that are you talking about? Sorry, please let me know. I'm talking about the lines. So which of the lines? Is it the in between lines? Is it was it the one I explained? Which of the lines? Sorry, please. Is it the okay? Let me see. Which of the lines do you mean? Is it these lines or these ones here? Let me know, please. Which of the lines? Is it the straight lines or the horizontal one? Is it the vertical lines or the horizontal lines? Let me know. Okay. So the next thing I am going to do here now, I want to mark my neckline. Okay. So in order for me to mark out my neckline, I'm going to extend this line. But first, I want to mark out my neckline first I do any before I do the tightening at that point. Why is this thing shaking now? Before I do the tightening, okay? So the next thing I am going to do from this point now. So my neckline is coming this way. So definitely from this point, I have the depth of my neckline. I am using like 5.5 inches, okay? So I'm going to use my pencil first to do this. So from this point, I am going to place this like this, and then I get the edge. Just see what I am doing. Remember that 2.5 inches that we came out by that 2.5 inches. So that is the 2.5 inches. That is what I am marking now. So I'm just creating like this curved. Can you see? So when I create this curve, this line is not going to hang here because I've not done the over bust tightening. So the next thing I am going to do, I'm going to extend this line here, okay? Because we are going to tighten that part, or else if you do not tighten it, it's going to spoil everything. So from this point, we are going to take, from this point now, I am going to take half of an inch to my right and then half of an inch to my left. So when I do that, the next thing I am going to take my pattern curve like this. Okay, can you see? So this is my bust point. I'm going to take my pattern curve like this. So you could do 0.75. Can you see? Can you see? And then I'll take this one like this also. And then I am going to place it. So make sure you place it the way you are placing it. Is everything you are doing is coming to our bust point. Can you see? So this is our bust point. You can see. So that curve is navigating and coming to that bust point. Okay. Okay, sorry, to our bust point. See our bust point here because I was almost mistaken. So just make sure it blends and then you have beautiful curved lines this way, okay? So once you've done it, so this part definitely, so that with this, your neckline is not going to be opening like, you understand? Can you see how wide the neckline is? Just make sure that it is not too deep and then you tighten this chest area, okay? So the next thing we are going to do from this point now, I'm going to mark from this point, I'm going to come in. From this point, I'm going to come in by like half of an inch. So from that half of an inch, can you see what I'm doing? From that half of an inch, I'm going to curve that into my armhole. So all of this thing, I'm just making sure, I'm just using my pencil to do them. Okay, so you can see. So from this point, just to create that tips, okay, if not, and then you curve that in and bring that into your armhole like that, okay? So the next thing I am going to do, I'm just trying to check, I think everything is okay. So now I could use my marker and then just connect all of my lines just the way I explained. Okay. So next thing I want to do now, I want to take out my full body measurement, and then so we are done snatching this part. The next thing we are going to, okay, okay, good evening, welcome. So the next thing we're going to do now, we're going to take out our full body measurement. So our bust measurement, just like we did, our bust measurement is 40, divide by 4, we have 10, and then we're going to add back our dart intake into that, and then just add our stitching allowance. Okay, and then I'll come this to this point, I'll take my under bust measurement. So like I said, what's her name, Lovett, please, I don't understand your question. Can you please, you say not the dart measurement, what exactly? I really want to know so that I can clarify that. Okay, so the next thing I'm going to do now, come to my under bust. So I'm taking my under bust circumference. So our under bust, we use 32, that's 8, divide by 4, that's 8, and then add back our dart intake, and then I'll add my stitching allowance, and then I'll come to my waist. I use 36, divide by 4, 9, and then add back my dart intake, and then add my stitching allowance. And then for the hem, that's the down part, I use 40 inches, and then I'll add back my dart intake, and then add my stitching allowance. Okay, so when I'm done with all of these lines, I am going to want everything, I don't want to. So when I'm done with all of this, I'm going to join and connect all of those lines together. So I'll connect these two together first, and then I'll connect these ones. Okay, so now the next thing, I want to tighten our waist. So what's her name, Lovett, let's see, just check the front part. Okay, so the same thing I want to do now, I hope is what you are referring to. Okay, so the next thing now, we want to take out our, so this is our original dart. So now we want to tighten our front piece, that's the waist area. We want to snatch the waist. So remember, you took 2 inches for the back, so we're going to take out 2 inches for the front piece. So the next thing, I'm going to come to this part now, and then I'm going to mark, take out from this center part, I'll take out 1 inch. So I'll divide that 1 inch into two. So can you see what I am doing? So it came in as half of an inch, and then I am marking those on my dart around the waist part. So it's just around this waist area. So that is what I am taking out. I'm not taking anything from the bust. I don't know why this light is shaking. So I am left with 1 inch. Okay, so that 1 inch, I'm going to divide it. So the next thing, I'm going to come to this part. So for my corset, it depends on how many lines I want to add to it. Okay, so for this, I'm going to share what I have first. So I'll come to this part, and then I'll check what I have here. So if I want to divide what I have here, if I want to divide it into two, let me use pencil so that you can understand what I have here. If I want to divide that into two, I'm just going to mark it like this, and then so that's the center. I'll check what I have between here and here, and then mark it this way. Okay, mark it this way. So when I mark it this way, and then I'll take out my dart. Okay, so for instance, so let's just go with that. So I'll mark it here, what I have, and then I'll place my ruler. Can you see the way I place my ruler? If you notice, my ruler is not straight. My ruler is not straight. So I'm going to mark it like this. But for instance, I want to add more lines to my pattern. Here's what I'm going to do. I'm not going to take that middle one. So I'm going to share what do I have here, and I have about 8 inches. So that 8 inches, I can divide that into two. So this is two, and then this is two. So I have 2 inches here, and then I have one. So I have another 2 inches here, and then I have another 2 inches here. Okay. So at the end of the day, so it is divided into three parts. So that three parts, you know that I have just like 1 inch of that. So that 1 inch of that, I'm going to share it. So the first thing I'm going to do, I'm going to take my pattern curve. Can you see the way I'm placing my curve, my pattern? Because I want to divide. I don't want it to be straight. So I'll place my pattern curve like this, and then I'll take the second one also. I'll place it like this, and then I would I will mark it this way. So you can see that my darts are slanted. So the next thing, I want to take out the darts. So for this, I am going to take out. So for this, I'm not going to work with this back. So what I'm going to do, I'll divide my dart. I'll take them out as quarter of an inch. That is, I'll take out half inch from here and then half inch from here. So this is going to be a quarter of an inch, and then this will be quarter of an inch. But if I don't want to do this, I just want to do it straight. That's, I just want one line. I'll share what I have. I think that's the question you were asking. I'll share what I have here like this into two, and then just take the middle and then mark it, and then take out my 1 inch dart. That's half of an inch. Okay. But since I'm not doing it that way, I'm doing it this other way. So my quarter of an inch, I am coming to my under bust part like this, and then I am connecting this like this. So can you see what I am doing? I'm taking out my dart now. So automatically I'm snatching my waistline. That's for my front piece. And then I'm having all of my Victorian corset lines. Can you see? So you can see what I have here. So the next thing I'm going to do now, I am going to connect all of these lines. So I'll use my marker just to highlight all of them so you can see them properly. And I'm going to stay and wait for your questions. Okay, can you see? So let's see. Good afternoon, Gifty. Welcome. Good afternoon. So you can see my pattern. So the next thing I'm going to do now, we are done already. We're going to cut this piece out. So the first thing I'm going to do, I'm going to cut this before I create my basque. I'll just cut this out now, and then we'll create out our basque effect for our front piece. Okay. So the next thing, then creating out our basque effect, we're using our waistline. Can you see? So it's a simple process. So thank you so much, those of you that are giving me hearts. Thank you. I appreciate. So I'm going to place this like this, and then just navigate the curve. It is a simple process. So I'm just going to navigate the curve like this. So once I navigate the curve, once it gets to this point, and then just is it slop, just slant it to good evening. Thank you so much. I'm fine. Priska, good evening. Good evening. Good evening. Okay. So you just take it from this point, and then you slope it in this way. Okay. So the next thing I am going to cut so that we'll see the shape. So for our side that I almost forgot that. So for our side that I am going to just come to the center here and just mark it, and then just connect it like this. So I'm trying to check. Okay. So that's okay. So the next thing I am going to cut this now. Then I'm going to cut. So I'll cut open that, and then I am going to close my bust that. So like I said, this is So I'll close it this way so that I could just complete the other one. So it is a simple process. So I'm just going to close it this way. So if you notice, when I was cutting, the front is bigger, was longer than the back. So just see, can you see the way I'm cutting this? So for this, you have to be careful. I've not labeled them. So once you close it, you open this, so it makes it pop out nicely. So I have one, two, three, four. So next, this month, we're going to be doing this in our YouTube channel. That's the sewing part. As I'm going to be doing a Victorian corset like this for our YouTube, our normal YouTube video. I'm going to be doing that, and then I'm going to be doing a transparent corset also by God's grace. So transparent corset, that will be for next week. So I'm going to cut this. So I'm cutting this out now. When you are doing all this, you have to really label them properly and nicely, or else. Okay. Yes, of course, Gift, you can ask your questions. Just drop your questions. Thank you so much. I appreciate your feedback. Thank you. Thank you. Okay. So let's see. So I'm going to, so now we are done with our pattern drafting. So this is our front pattern, and then this is our back piece. So can you see? So this is our back piece. So what I'm going to do now, I'm going to raise my camera so that I can attend to the questions. Okay. So let's see. So let's see. Okay, say happy to get you. Okay, thank you, Gifty. Okay, say you are doing a good job. Thank you. Well done. Okay, I love to learn from you. Thank you. You're welcome. You can always learn. Of course, Zubi Apparel. Good evening. Please, ma, which day will you do the transparent? Okay, okay, the transparent corset. Is this next week by God's grace? Yes, next week I'll do transparent corset. We're going to start with transparent. As in, if you go to my channel lately, you notice that I've been doing more of advanced sewing. This, as in, for the past, like, I think since last month. So I'm dealing with all these corsets, trendy hem dresses, whatever, whatever. Just go to my YouTube channel and check. You see what I've been posting in the past, that like my last 4 videos back. So it's all those kind of things, those kind of corsets, those dresses. So the transparent corset is going to come up next week by God's grace. That's going to be our tutorial. We're going to do the pattern drafting next week. I'll do the pattern drafting on Monday, and then before the week runs out, we'll do the sewing part of it. Okay. So okay, so thank you so much. Okay. So please, which time do you start your work? Okay, my online my what do you call it? Live streams. My live streams are most times my live streams are usually in the evening by 7, Mondays, Tuesdays, then Thursdays Friday. So it depends, but at times there are some circumstances beyond my control that might make me not to come up, okay? But tomorrow, by God's grace, I will try. I will try and see if I could come up tomorrow after 7. So guys, so thank you so much. I am stopping here. Today's live stream is really long. So thank you so much, guys. Excuse me, guys. I'll see you guys in my next tutorial, in my next live stream. So that will be tomorrow by God's grace.